headed toward Annapolis, across the Severn River Bridge. No worries out of Bowie. Continuing back toward the Beltway should find your travel lanes open. Good looking trip between the Beltways still on 95, but heavier still south on the Baltimore-Washington Parkway as you get and approach and pass Route 100. By the time you're down toward 175, you're looking good. Filling in a bit on 270 south, leaving Urbana, headed down toward 109. Allentown Road between Branch Avenue and Suitland Parkway. Overnight, we'd had a work zone both sides of Allentown Road, blocking that left lane. The one issue right now in Virginia, 66 going west. The ramp to go north on 28. You've got a crash along the right side of that ramp. The WTOP Traffic Center is presented by Window Nation. No payment, no interest until 2025. Visit windownation.com today. Jack Taylor, WTOP Traffic.
Our forecast now, here's Chad Merrill.
We've got lots of sunshine here on your Monday. Temperatures reaching the upper 80s. We drop back to the upper 60s overnight with some patchy fog west of Washington. Plenty of sunshine, upper 80s, low humidity on Tuesday. Breezy and warm mid 80s on Wednesday. Showers with a cold front, temperatures mid 70s on Thursday. I'm Storm Team 4's Chad Merrill.
And right now it's 62 degrees in Brockville, at Ashburn 63 degrees. And here in Friendship Heights, we are at 67.
You're listening to WTOP, Washington's top news. Live, local, 24/7.
Good morning, I'm Bruce Allen.
And I'm Joan Jones. And coming up,
The state funeral for Britain's Queen Elizabeth II is underway.
There will be pushback to Virginia's new policy on rights of transgender students. I'm Neil Augenstein.
Jumping on the new I-66 express lanes, what we've been seeing and what to expect. I'm Melissa Howell.
A new day in court for a convicted murderer who's long said he's innocent. I'm Dick Iuliano.
He thought he successfully outran deputies, but now he's behind bars. I'm Mike Murillo.
we'll have some cloudy skies today and our high temperatures soaring up to 88 degrees. It's now 6 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Dell Small Business.
I'm Vicki Barker in London. Final farewell to Britain's Queen Elizabeth. The funeral for Britain's longest reigning monarch has just begun.
In the service this morning, there will not just be sorrow, there will be heartfelt thanks for a most wonderful life of selfless service to the nation.
Bishop Richard Harries among the 2,000 guests, more than 500 heads of state and other dignitaries, including Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
Her thoughtfulness, her perspective in the sweep of history was always extraordinarily valuable.
Private citizens honored for their charity work also among the invitees, including this mother who campaigns against knife crime.
I think it's a testament to Her Majesty that she wanted it to be that members of the public were there.
The Queen's coffin lay in state overnight, where late last night that long line to view the coffin finally closed.
You are the last person in the queue.
When they came up and just said that, I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. That was fantastic. That's unbelievable.
The funeral service will end later this hour. CBS's Ian Lee has more.
After the funeral, a procession will carry the Queen's coffin through the historic heart of London as Big Ben rings out one last time for Her Majesty.
William and Kate's children, Prince George and Princess Charlotte, will be among the royals walking behind the coffin. Then the Queen's coffin will be taken by royal hearse to Windsor Castle, where she'll be buried beside her parents and her late husband, Prince Philip. I'm Vicki Barker in London. Now with more CBS News, here's Monica Ricks.
Puerto Rico is in the dark this morning after a hard hit from Hurricane Fiona. Meteorologist Mike Seidel.
Hurricane Fiona is going to take a swipe at the Dominican Republic, then head north, missing the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos with a direct hit. But by the middle of the week, it could make a direct hit on Bermuda.
Rain in California will bring relief to firefighters. The state's biggest wildfire has now spread to more than 76,000 acres. It is just 38% contained. President Biden discussed a number of issues with CBS's Scott Pelley on 60 Minutes.
Is the pandemic over?
The pandemic is over. We still have a problem with COVID. We're still doing a lot of work on it. But the pandemic is over.
As for 2024, Mr. Biden says he hasn't decided. New York City's shelters are reaching a breaking point now as more migrants are bussed in from Republican states. Mayor Eric Adams.
We have this heavy influx, and that's why our legal team is looking at what legal challenges we could do with Texas, as well as how do we properly ensure everyone receives the necessary services they deserve.
This is CBS News.
Dell's semi-annual sale has arrived. Save big on PCs with Windows 11 Pro. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Call 877-ASK-DELL.
6:03 Monday morning, September 19th. Warm today and somewhat humid with increasing clouds. Highs in the mid to upper 80s. Good morning, I'm Bruce Allen.
And I'm Joan Jones. And the top local stories we're following this hour. Virginia's Department of Education has released the Youngkin administration's new policy on the rights of transgender students. The changes would affect which bathroom transgender students use, inform parents about their child's gender identity, and not force teachers to use a child's chosen pronoun. But there will be challenges before that policy goes into effect.
There's a world of legal issues with this.
Virginia Delegate Danica Rome.
If you discriminate, as the governor is doing on this, you are inherently in violation of the Virginia Human Rights Act.
That 2021 law prevents discrimination based on gender identity in public settings, including schools.
Do they think any of these school boards in any Northern Virginia jurisdiction are going to actually put up with this?
This would not be the first time local school boards got together to sue the governor. His spokeswoman says the policy is crafted to make sure school boards who follow it would comply with state and federal laws. Neil Augenstein, WTOP News.
The I-66 express lanes are open, and so far officials say it's been a smooth ride for drivers.
The new express lanes are offering some new options.
Improved connectivity, new travel options, and new choices for drivers who have been stuck in heavy congestion for decades.
Nancy Smith is with I-66 Express Mobility Partners.
Overall, things have been going very smoothly. We've been seeing a steady increase in traffic since we opened.
As you head out, you'll want to keep in mind exit and entrance points along the corridor are limited, so you'll want to plan ahead. For every 3 mainline exits, there's roughly 1 express exit. And trucks will be permitted, unlike on other express lanes. And drivers will have to start paying tolls soon. That's expected to kick in before the end of this month. Melissa Howell, WTOP News.
For a complete guide on exit and entry points along I-66, visit WTOP.com.
A woman has died after a multi-car crash on I-270 in Rockville. Maryland State Police say about 3:30 yesterday morning, a Tesla rear-ended another car in the northbound lanes. And then as those cars were stopped along the roadway, another car crashed into them. A passenger in the first car was killed and 2 other people were taken to the hospital. The driver of the Tesla was taken to Maryland State Police barracks for questioning, but he was suspected of driving while impaired. Once the investigation is complete, the Montgomery County State's Attorney's Office will determine what charges should be filed.
Imprisoned more than 20 years for a murder he says he didn't commit. A Baltimore man gets a crack at freedom today.
Adnan Syed's case fascinated the nation when it was spotlighted on the podcast Serial. A Baltimore judge is scheduled to hold an afternoon hearing in which prosecutors have asked that the murder conviction be vacated and Syed be released from prison. State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby says a year-long investigation has provided new information about the murder of Syed's high school classmate Hae Min Lee in 1999. Dick Iuliano, WTOP News.
A search and rescue team from Montgomery County is being deployed to Puerto Rico in response to Hurricane Fiona, which has already left more than 1 million people without power on the island. Maryland Task Force 1 was activated by FEMA, along with several similar task forces around the country. Now, this team is 35 people with the Montgomery County Fire and Rescue Service who specialize in urban research, make that urban search and rescue operations. They can also assist with humanitarian efforts. Pete Perringer, a spokesperson for the department, tweeted that the team's flight yesterday was canceled because of weather, and now it may not leave until today. For more information on the Maryland Task Force 1, including its previous activations and skill set, you can go to WTOP.com.
Coming up after traffic and weather, can certain types of video games help prevent dementia? It's 6:07.
Technology allows drones to deliver pizza. Here's mine now.
Approaching drop zone.
But to deliver powerful insights that are on target, you need more than technology. You need CDWG to help transform your agency's IT environment with a Dell technology solution that modernizes and secures your data, so you can slice it any way you want.
Delivering. Don't forget to tip.
Dell Technologies makes data-driven insights possible. CDWG makes it powerful. Learn more at cdwg.com/Dell Data Center.
Here's Mike Cecilia, the Executive Vice President for Industries at Oracle, on the Cloud Exchange, sponsored by Oracle.
What Oracle does that's different, and you may not know about, is specialize in about 11 industries today where we have deep vertical expertise, meaning we have edge compute, edge application offerings. These could be 5G management systems for large telcos, electronic health records for construction management solutions, and so on and so on.
Listen to the entire discussion on Federal News Network. Search Oracle.
Oracle Cloud redefines innovation with enterprise-ready solutions and integrated services, allowing government to build, manage, and secure critical workloads seamlessly in the cloud or on premises. Government agencies trust Oracle Cloud with FedRAMP high-accredited cloud regions supporting all of your data workloads. Learn more at oracle.com/federal. That's oracle.com/federal.
Slow or clogged drains? Call Michael & Son and get $100 off at drain cleaning today.
Traffic and weather on the 8s. Over to Jack in the traffic center.
They have a wreck in Maryland out of Mount Airy on I-70 going westbound near exit 68. Authorities were headed to the scene. Otherwise, you're in good shape across I-70 east or west between Hagerstown and Baltimore. A little heavier now on the Frederick stretch of 270 going south. You're good passing 85, but the brake lights near 80 in Urbana stretch toward 109. Pretty decent ride out of Germantown. There's more volume, but so far no big delays into Rockville. Topside outer loop, same, getting busier. New Hampshire toward Georgia. Inner loop still looks good from St. Barnabas Road down toward the Wilson Bridge. Our work zone should be wrapped up. Allentown Road between Branch Avenue and Suitland Parkway. The left lane had been blocked both sides of Allentown Road through the overnight with the work zone. Into Virginia, 66 east, you're good. Gainesville headed toward Roslyn. West 66, the ramp to go north on 28. A crash had been along the right side of that ramp. There were some flashing lights in the area looking to assist, and the ramp delay has eased somewhat. 95, we are getting slower northbound. Dale City going into Woodbridge. There was an earlier crash eastbound on Route 7 at Carlin Springs Road. Quiet trip so far along the Beltway between Alexandria and McLean. Heavier, though, on 395, headed northbound from Duke towards Seminary. Rest of the ride headed up toward the 14th Street Bridge. You are in good shape. Can't find the new car you're looking for? Try a Fitzway used car. Next to a new car, a Fitzway car is best. Visit fitzmall.com for a good car and a safe car you can trust. That's the Fitzway. Jack Taylor, WTOP Traffic.
Our forecast now from Storm Team 4 meteorologist Chad Merrill.
Well, we've got a changeable weather week here in the Washington area. Plenty of sunshine today. Temperatures actually pretty warm this afternoon with upper 80s. Perhaps a shower or two. Best chance near the Mason-Dixon line. Patchy fog west of Washington. Still humid. Upper 60s overnight. Plenty of sunshine on your Tuesday. Low humidity. Feeling great outside. Temperatures still in the upper 80s. Wednesday still warm and muggy with mid-80s, and then things change on Thursday as a front comes through and temperatures near 80. I'm Storm Team 4's Chad Merrill.
And right now we've got 68 in Hyattsville and clear skies pretty much, and it's 67 degrees outside our studios. It's brought to you by Long Fence. Save 15% on Long Fence decks, pavers, and fences. Go to longfence.com today and schedule your free in-home estimate.
6:11 now. He's accused of leading a Stafford County deputy on a chase last month and even pointing a gun at the patrol car chasing him. Now detectives say last Thursday they got their man.
After pumping iron at the gym in Fredericksburg, 32-year-old Paul Hayden found himself wearing steel cuffs outside that gym. The Stafford County Sheriff's Office says Virginia State Police made the arrest for its department after Hayden is accused of driving dangerously and pointing a gun at one of its deputies. It happened back on August 11th on Kings Highway when Hayden was reportedly clocked going 100 miles per hour in a 55 zone on his Can-Am three-wheeled motorcycle. He then got away. Detectives were eventually able to figure out who he was and find him. Now he's in jail charged with several things, including assault on a law enforcement officer. Mike Murillo, WTOP News.
Arrests were made and charges have been filed against two teenagers after two separate fights broke out at the Frederick Fair over the weekend. Frederick News Post is reporting it happened Saturday night after a group of teens gathered inside Gate 1 and began fighting. While police tried arresting the primary aggressor, a teenage boy, the crowd interfered with the arrest. Police used pepper spray to disperse them. Then another group formed, and when deputies tried to break that up, a teenage girl allegedly hit a deputy in the chest. Both the boy and the girl were arrested and charged with second-degree assault and have been banned from returning to the fairgrounds.
There's promising research showing video games may help prevent dementia. The Wall Street Journal reports scientists are studying if brain training games can help stave off or delay age-related deterioration in the brain. These games aren't what people typically think of as video games or puzzles. In some, players must differentiate and recall sounds, patterns, and objects, making snap decisions that grow harder as the game progresses. Many scientists say it's too early to tell whether the games really can prevent dementia, and they question whether they can lead to long-term improvements in memory and daily functioning. However, some scientists do think the games are promising enough that they're pouring millions of dollars into studying them.
Up ahead here on WTOP, the state funeral for Queen Elizabeth underway at the moment. As we hear from Westminster Abbey this morning, we'll have more on this and the latest on the path of Hurricane Fiona in the moments ahead at 6:13.
Are you interested in beginning or expanding on a career in the pipe fitting, pipe welding, or HVAC service industry? Are you interested in the opportunity to work full-time and learn both on the job and in the classroom? Are you interested in learning a trade that will allow you to earn six figures and have the best benefits in the industry? Are you interested in a career path that will set you up for life without experiencing any college debt? If you are interested in these things and you live in the D.C. area, the Steamfitters UA Local 602 Apprenticeship Program is the best choice for you. Our apprenticeship program sets you up for a great life with job security, great wages, medical, and the absolute best retirement benefits there is. Applications will be accepted online beginning November 1st and ending November 30th. So don't waste any time. Get all the information related to the process by visiting 602training.org. That's 602training.org.
Oh, it's Monday, the end of week 2 of the NFL season, but a great time to get started on FanDuel Sportsbook. This is Dave Johnson, and what I'm talking about, if you're new to FanDuel Sportsbook, get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with the promo code Dave Johnson. Remember the promo code Dave Johnson. Now, when you download the FanDuel Sportsbook app, you will discover so many player and game props, and on FanDuel Sportsbook, you can combine these props with other bets in the same game to score an even bigger payout. For example, tonight, Eagles and Vikings taking Jalen Hurts over on the passing yards. Jalen Hurts' first touchdown score. Justin Jefferson over on the receiving yards. Oh, love same game parlay on FanDuel Sportsbook. Also, ease of use and fast withdrawals. When you win, you get paid fast on FanDuel. And remember, new to FanDuel Sportsbook, get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with the promo code Dave Johnson. 21 plus in President Virginia, first time real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issues, non-withdrawable free bets expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Sports at 15 and 45, powered by Red River. Technology decisions aren't black and white. Think red.
6:15 and over to Dave Johnson.
Hey, listen, I'd love for this Washington defense to be dominating, but just not deflating, for goodness sakes. Ron Rivera, after the 36-27 loss to the Lions.
Well, ourselves, we gave up big plays, explosive plays, and you can't give those plays up. You allow an explosive play, and it throws you off. And that's really, if you look at most of their scoring drives, I believe there's at least one play over 25 yards, I think.
Well, he's half right. Their Lions' 6 scoring drives, 3 had plays of at least 25 yards, including a 49-yard strike and a 58-yard reception. That 49-yard pass play was on a 3rd and 3, and the Commanders did not get off the field. And this one, after that thrilling win over Jacksonville, and then all of a sudden, how's his team and Carson Wentz and company down 21-0 at halftime?
Wish I had the magic answer, because last week we came out rolling. We came out first 2 drives hot, and this week we're horrible. Horrible in the first half, and I got to own that one and find a way to stay on the field and convert some things just to get a little momentum.
And concerns and injury concerns offensive line. Wentz was under too much pressure. Issue is not the quarterback. The Ravens stunned by the Dolphins 42-38. Dolphins rallied from a 21-point deficit. Packers last night defeated the Bears 27-10. DC United, the 3-2 loss to Inter Miami. Major League Soccer looking into accusations Taxi Futis used a racial slur during that game. Las Vegas Aces, WNBA champions after one of the Connecticut Sun. The Orioles 4 out of a wild card after one of the Blue Jays. Dave Johnson, WTOP Sports.
The top stories we're following for you on WTOP. Britain laying to rest its longest-serving monarch, Queen Elizabeth, with her funeral going on right now. The royal family is joined by 2,000 dignitaries for the state funeral at Westminster Abbey, with huge crowds lining the streets of London outside.
Hurricane Fiona is bearing down on the Dominican Republic this morning after knocking out power and unleashing floods and landslides in Puerto Rico. Winds were clocked at 85 miles an hour and up to 30 inches of rain is forecast. So far, no deaths reported.
Russian bombs have struck a nuclear power plant in the south of Ukraine early this morning, but its reactors have not been damaged and appear to be working normally. That attack also damaged a nearby hydroelectric power plant and transmission lines. Stay with WTOP for more on these stories in just minutes.
New this morning, there are reports of a bear sighting in Virginia. Police in Vienna, Virginia say they're getting reports of a black bear sighting in the 300 block of Park Street Northeast. Police say if you do spot a bear, don't approach it or feed it. Instead, move indoors and report the sighting to the Virginia Department of Wildlife Resources.
6:18. Traffic and weather on the 8s. It's Jack in the traffic center.
All right, looking good in Virginia. 66 getting out of Gainesville, riding eastbound. As you make the trip headed all the way toward Roslyn. Watch on 66 west. The ramp to go north on 28. Building volume. There had been an earlier issue on the right side of that ramp. 7 eastbound near Carlin Springs Road, a crash. Now reports of a wreck in Manassas along Business 234 at Sudley Manor Drive. Checking both sides of 234 business in the area. 95 northbound from Fredericksburg into Springfield, a little heavier. Dale City going into Woodbridge. 395 looks good, leaving the Beltway north up toward the 14th Street Bridge. No troubles yet on 495 between Alexandria and McLean. We're heavier, Maryland, topside outer loop from New Hampshire over toward Georgia Avenue. A few more brake lights now than gas. 270 off and on delays at 85. Then again in Urbana down toward 109. 50 coming west off the Bay Bridge. Watch. Out near the Severn River Bridge, we've had reports of a crash. Trouble potentially out near Mount Airy on 70 West near exit 68. There we'd had reports of a crash. You will find we're a little bit heavier, inner loop of the Beltway, but really without delay. 210 down toward the Woodrow Wilson Bridge. Brake lights, though, in the district on DC 295 headed southbound. Expect delays after Eastern Avenue toward East Capitol Street. Still quiet across the freeway. No worries, I-295 north coming up from Oxon Cove. We're in good shape as you're in the 3rd Street Tunnel, and no reported issues yet northeast and northwest going inbound on New York Avenue. Peraton, doing the can't be done for national security because our way of life depends on it. Visit Peraton.com for more info. Jack Taylor, WTOP Traffic.
Okay, Chad Merrill, looks like we're going to get a little bit warmer around here today.
Yeah, temperatures this afternoon in the upper 80s. Do watch out. There's some patchy fog between Culpeper and Warrenton that could slow you down just a little bit this morning. Other than that, we've got mostly clear skies. And as the sun comes up at 6:53 a.m., a little bit of sun glare for the morning commute. Now, the sky will start to look a little bit ominous this afternoon. A shower possible as a front comes through, but the best activity north into Pennsylvania. Upper 60s with patchy fog tonight. Plenty of sunshine, less muggy Tuesday afternoon. That's the key for tomorrow's forecast, even though temperatures will be in the upper 80s. Partly cloudy, breezy, warm, mid-80s on Wednesday. A changeable day on Thursdays. A cold front brings some gusty showers, mid-70s, and wind gusts to 30 miles an hour. A refreshing northwest breeze back into the region. 61 at Dulles International, 66 at BWI Marshall, and a warm 68 at Reagan National Airport.
All right, thank you, Chad. Brought to you by New Look Home Design, the roofing experts. Call 800-279-5300. Keep it here on WTOP as we continue our coverage this morning of the state funeral of Britain's Queen Elizabeth. It's now 6:21.
And now from WTOP's Small Business September series presented by Eagle Bank, here's Scott Kinlaw, Senior Vice President, Market Executive at Eagle Bank.
The perspective we take from the start of a relationship is a long-term perspective. We don't really do transactions. We do more of a long-term partnership with them. And they're members of our community. We want to support them and support our community. It's my client. It's my community. It's our client, our community. And, we'll always be there to support our community. That's the fun part of the job, the long-term relationship, the long-term perspective, a partnership, and understanding what their needs are and accommodating and working towards that with them.
To hear more of this interview, visit WTOP and search Small Business September. To learn more about how Eagle Bank can help your business grow, go to eaglebankcorp.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. Eagle Bank, building business, building relationships.
Who is Virginia for? Well, in the fall, it's for mountain dwellers and leaf peepers, apple pickers, cider sippers, trail running overachievers who all inevitably become spa soakers and fire sitters. Will someone get me a cozy flannel? I'm going where they are. As I was saying, Virginia is for all sorts of lovers. So come love it for yourself.
2 brand new tickets are making their presence felt in D.C. From U Street to downtown, from Adams Morgan to Anacostia. Introducing the District Diamonds and 51st Scratchers from D.C. Lottery. Inspired by the District. Made for the District. With prizes up to $151,000. Grab them today from your local D.C. Lottery retailer. Because here in D.C., this is how we play. Please play responsibly.
You're listening to WTOP News.
It's 6:23.
CBS News Special Report, remembering the life of Queen Elizabeth II.
I'm Vicki Barker, live in London. The scene in Westminster Abbey, where the funeral of Britain's longest reigning monarch is now underway.
In grief and also in profound thanksgiving, we come to this house of God, to a place of prayer, to a church where remembrance and hope are sacred duties.
David Hoyle, Dean of Westminster Abbey, telling the 2,000 assembled they are there
to mourn our loss, to remember her long life of selfless service, and ensure confidence, to commit her to the mercy of God, our Maker and Redeemer.
A minute's silence will end the service later this hour, and then pipers and drummers will lead the most massive military procession in decades. CBS News Special Report. I'm Vicki Barker.
It's now 6:24, and local nonprofits say they are in a better place than they were back in April when busloads of migrants began arriving in D.C., but there is a key element in their response that's still missing.
What we're trying to do is to build a sustainable infrastructure.
Abel Nunez is Executive Director of Central American Resource Center in D.C.
But we still are missing a centralized location in Washington, D.C.
And not just any place will do.
We need a place that can host about 100 to 150 people, that has showers, so that, a lot of people have not showered for weeks because they were in detention, then in a 30-hour to 33-hour bus ride from Texas.
Nunez says he thinks there's a lot of unused real estate in the district that could be repurposed into a 24-hour intake center.
We're still working with the mayor's administration to find an appropriate location. We want to be able to give them sort of the dignity of receiving them.
Sarah Jacobs, WTOP News.
Money news at 25 and 55. McDonald's may be bringing back its Halloween Happy Meal pails. The website Nightmare Nostalgia released a copy of a leaked calendar of McDonald's events showing the pails as arriving October 18th through Halloween. McDonald's first began offering them in 1986. The Halloween-themed buckets, which can double as kids' trick-or-treat pails, originally came in designs of McPumpkin, McBoo, and McGoblin, with all of them looking like jack-o'-lanterns, just different faces on them. McDonald's has not confirmed the news.
You'll be getting yours, yes? Of course.
Still have my old ones.
Okay. German automaker Volkswagen is targeting a valuation of up to $71 billion for its initial public offering of Porsche in what would be one of Europe's largest ever IPOs. Volkswagen announced yesterday it intends to list shares for up to €82 when it starts trading shares on September 29th. The automaker says that it hopes to raise over €9 billion from the share sale, which will help to pay for its shift to electric vehicles and spending on software development.
Money news brought to you by Cox.
This summer, when you're on the go, stay connected to what matters most with access to over 3 million Cox Wi-Fi hotspots. Learn more at Cox.com. That's Cox.com. Sponsored by Cox, bringing us closer.
Coming up after traffic and weather.
Congressional sparring over the latest political tactics to draw attention to the southern border. I'm Mitchell Miller, today on The Hill.
626.
America spends Sunday nights with Trey Gowdy. The former prosecutor is serving an honest perspective.
It's one thing to see the problem. It's even better if you see a solution.
And defending your freedom with the facts.
Free speech comes with a responsibility to tell the truth.
When it comes to the biggest issues facing the nation, Trey gets to the heart of the matter and looks for the silver lining.
There are still reasons to be thankful, reasons to be grateful for living in America.
Don't miss Sunday Night in America with Trey Gowdy. Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox News Channel.
When it comes to the future of Army aviation, Defiant X gives soldiers the edge, sustains good-paying American jobs, and strengthens security. Transformational X2 technology delivers increased speed, range, and maneuverability. Led by Lockheed Martin, Sikorsky, and Boeing, and powered by a strong, diverse team of suppliers, Defiant X not only delivers for the Army, it maintains our nation's proven helicopter industrial base. Defiant X, the best choice for the Army's mission and America's future.
Okay, we're here. Flu shot time.
How about we come back tomorrow or next week?
We're all here now. We can just run in and out.
But we didn't make an appointment.
We don't need an appointment.
But it's Sunday. They're not open on Sundays.
Honey, they're open.
But
come on, Dad. You can hold my hand.
Okay.
Get a safe and easy flu shot from a trusted and caring Wegmans pharmacist. No prescription needed and a $0 copay with most insurance. Visit Wegmans.com/flu to learn more.
It's 6:28. And it's traffic and weather on the 8s. Now let's get you back to the traffic center and Jack Taylor.
All right, now we're getting some slowing in Maryland, running 270 south, passing 85, then slow in Urbana, headed down toward 109. Still looking good between the beltways on 95, but there's reports of a wreck south on 95 near 216. I've got one vehicle with flashers on the left shoulder. A delay builds now as you run 50 westbound out near the Severn River Bridge. The crash along the right side of the roadway. I think everything's now on the shoulder out of Mount Airy, 70 westbound out beyond exit 68. State Highway crews are with it. Again, off the roadway left side. Beltway topside outer loop, we're getting slower New Hampshire to Georgia. Inner loop still looking pretty good, down from 210 toward the Woodrow Wilson Bridge. No slowdowns yet in Virginia between Alexandria and McLean. 66 west, the ramp to go north on 28. We'd had some earlier activity on the right side of that ramp with a crash. A wreck 7 eastbound at Carlin Springs Road. Now checking in Manassas on Sudley Road near Sudley Manor Drive. There we'd had reports of a crash. 66 eastbound's a little bit heavy coming out of Centerville. Riding east, headed toward the Fairfax County Parkway. 95 northbound, crowded. Stafford through Aquia, slow in Woodbridge. Then again, a little volume in Lorton toward Newington. Busier on 395 as well as you ride up through Landmark, then again to get to the 14th Street Bridge, but should find your lanes open. Slow traffic in the district on DC 295 south, headed toward East Capitol Street. Florida Avenue westbound between 14th and 12th in Northeast. There we'd had reports of a crash. It's halftime at Window Nation. Right now, score new windows for your home at half the price. Get 2 free windows for every 2 you buy and pay nothing until 2025. Visit windownation.com today. Jack Taylor, WTOP Traffic.
Our forecast now from Storm Team 4's Chad Merrill.
We've got a beautiful start to our day. Temperatures rising through the 70s. Partial sunshine this afternoon. Can't rule out a shower. Best chance of activity in Pennsylvania. Temperatures, though, in the upper 80s. Clearing skies, some patchy fog west of Washington. Keep that in mind for the morning commute Tuesday, upper 60s. Mostly sunny, less muggy Tuesday afternoon, but still in the upper 80s. Wednesday, mid-80s, partly cloudy, breezy, and warm. Changeable on Thursday as a strong cold front comes through. I'm Storm Team 4's Chad Merrill.
68 at the moment in Roslyn, and Laurel is at 66 degrees. We're clear, and 67 outside our studios.
Our top stories in 60 seconds.
Everyone deserves the opportunity for a meaningful career, but people with disabilities are often underemployed, underpaid, and overlooked for employment. For the past 60 years, Melwood has been fighting for more equitable employment in the disability space. We're not done yet, and would love for you to join us. For more information about how you help create a more inclusive world for people with disabilities, visit melwood.org/donate, melwood.org/donate.
Technology allows drones to deliver pizza. Here's mine now.
Approaching drop zone.
But to deliver powerful insights that are on target, you need more than technology. You need CDWG to help transform your agency's IT environment with a Dell technology solution that modernizes and secures your data, so you can slice it any way you want.
Delivering. Don't forget to tip.
Dell Technologies makes data-driven insights possible. CDWG makes it powerful. Learn more at cdwg.com/Dell Data Center.
This is WTOP. Today's top news, traffic, and weather. The WTOP Producers Desk is wired by IBEW Local 26, where electrical contractors come to grow.
Good morning, I'm Joan Jones.
And I'm Bruce Allen. Luke Lukert is our producer.
CBS News Special Report, remembering the life of Queen Elizabeth II.
A state funeral for England's longest reigning queen is underway at London's Westminster Abbey. The Very Reverend Dr. David Hoyle.
With admiration we recall her lifelong sense of duty and dedication to her people.
Correspondent Vicky Barker is in London.
Assembling outside the Abbey, the sailors who will pull the gun carriage carrying the Queen's body 2 miles through central London. Then it will be loaded onto the royal hearse and taken to Windsor Castle for burial beside her husband, Prince Philip.
Tens of thousands of Brits have flooded the city to say goodbye to the only Queen most have ever known.
We have sleeping bags, some food, lots of layers.
CBS News Special Report. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
At 6:33, well, before leaving for the Queen's funeral in Britain, President Biden sat down with CBS News correspondent Scott Pelley for an interview that aired Sunday on 60 Minutes. Now, on the subject of the U.S. role if China invades Taiwan.
Would U.S. forces defend the island?
Yes, if in fact there was an unprecedented attack.
A Chinese foreign ministry spokeswoman says those remarks violate Washington's commitment not to support formal independence for Taiwan, a step Beijing has said would lead to war. Following the interview, CBS News reports the White House responded that U.S. policy has not changed and that Washington does want to see Taiwan's status resolved peacefully. In the same interview, President Biden also addressed the prospect of running for a second term.
My intention, as I said to begin with, is that I would run again. But it's just an intention. But is it a firm decision that I run again? That remains to be seen.
The interview marks President Biden's first 60 Minutes interview of his presidency.
Republican lawmakers are coming to the defense of same-party governors who are sending migrants to Washington and other East Coast cities to draw attention to problems at the border.
They finally see there's a problem here in D.C.
Ohio Republican Congressman Warren Davidson says he's glad that the governor of Texas sent a busload of migrants outside the D.C. home of Vice President Kamala Harris last week. He and other GOP lawmakers say the White House and Democrats can't continue to ignore issues at the border. But the chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Dick Durbin, tells NBC's Meet the Press that what the governors are doing is pathetic, and he argues it shows Republicans are continuing to use people as political pawns.
Now, once again, it's the kids and families that are put on these buses and transported for political purposes across the United States.
On Capitol Hill, Mitchell Miller, WTOP News.
In Ukraine, a Russian missile strike hit a facility close to a nuclear power plant in the southern part of the country. Now, it didn't cause any damage to the reactors, but it did damage other industrial equipment. Ukraine's country's atomic energy operator has denounced it as an act of nuclear terrorism. That strike caused an explosion that broke more than 100 windows on buildings in the complex and caused a nearby hydropower plant to shut down temporarily.
Iran's president is on his way to New York, where he'll speak to the UN General Assembly later this week. President Ibrahim Raisi's trip comes as talks to revive Iran's tattered nuclear deal with world powers remain stalled. Raisi says he has no plans to meet with President Biden or other U.S. officials at the event.
SpaceX has launched another series of satellites for its Starlink internet service, showing that Florida's launch business is booming.
SpaceX had been 0 for 4 for this one because of the weather, and the forecast was not promising for Sunday night's launch until it was.
And liftoff of Starlink 4-34. Go Falcon 9.
This particular launch wasn't particularly remarkable on its own. SpaceX has launched hundreds of Starlink satellites already. What is remarkable is the sheer volume of launches from the Cape this year. 40 in 38 weeks, 33 of them belonging to SpaceX. Want to go back to the last 12 months? There have been 50 from Florida since last September, with more to come before the end of the year. Peter King, CBS News, Orlando.
Coming up after traffic and weather, Hurricane Fiona knocks out power across Puerto Rico. 6:36.
Are you ready for your palm reading, my dear?
Yeah, let's do this.
I sense that you crave something.
More reliable.
Right. You know you deserve better and want out of a relationship.
Yes, with my big name wireless carrier.
You're who now?
My big name wireless carrier. That's why I switched to Xfinity Mobile. Now I get unlimited with 5G for $30 per month on the most reliable 5G network.
Let's talk about your aura. It's so...
And get this. They can even save you hundreds a year on your wireless bill over T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon.
Wow, that's actually really impressive.
Yep, but you already knew that, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I definitely saw this coming.
Start seeing savings today. Switch to the fastest mobile service, Xfinity Mobile. Now with the best price on 2 lines of unlimited, just $30 a line per month. Switch today. Xfinity Internet required. Price comparison for 2 unlimited lines under available 5G pricing plans of top 3 carriers. Taxes and fees extra. Reduced speeds up to 20 gigabytes of usage per line. Most reliable based on root metrics. US report. Comcast analysis of mobile Wi-Fi and cellular data from Ookla Speed Test Intelligence Q2 2022.
His presidency used the power of the arts to influence politics, culture, and style. Now explore this fascinating time in Art and Ideals, President John F. Kennedy, a new permanent interactive exhibit at the Kennedy Center. Step into the stirring words of JFK's speeches. Create a White House dinner guest list. Capture a selfie in the style of a presidential portrait and much more. Open daily with free admission. More at kennedy-center.org.
At Len the Plumber, we know plumbing issues can be stressful. No one understands this more than our plumbers.
Nobody's excited to call a plumber. My approach is to allow that customer to feel comfortable with me in their house and to go over any and all options of what repairs they can make to their home for whatever budget suits them.
Our promise of same-day service 7 days a week isn't just an option. It's who we are.
The only way to get a plumber today, just call Len the Plumber.
It's 6:38. Traffic and weather on the 8s now. Let's send you back to the traffic center here with Jack.
If you were in Maryland and you're on 50 going westbound, the delay begins as you approach Route 2, headed up onto the Severn River Bridge. Right at the beginning of the bridge, we've got the activity along the far right side. That looks like just one left lane getting by at the scene of that wreck. Now, the rest of the ride 50, you are good through Annapolis and Bowie. You make the trip headed toward the Beltway, but getting a little slower inside the Beltway, moving into Cheverly. Baltimore-Washington Parkway headed south. We've got a delay at 175, then again passing 197. Little heavy going through the Beltway interchange. 95 coming southbound at 216. Crash activity along the far left side of the roadway. 270, we're getting a little bit busier out of Frederick, leaving 85 slowly through Urbana, headed down toward 109, but good out of Germantown as you head down toward the lane divide. The incident on 70 westbound out near 27 Mount Airy has been moved over safely onto the shoulder. All right, be careful in the district. We're slow on DC 295 south as you head down toward East Capitol Street. A little busier I-295 north coming out of Oxon Cove. Off and on heavy up and to and across the inbound 11th Street Bridge. Florida Avenue sounds closed in both directions in northeast, basically near Orange Street, putting it between 14th and 12th Streets. Follow police direction. In Virginia, 66 east, a little heavy east leaving Centerville, then near Nutley to the Beltway. Beltway itself between Alexandria and McLean, you are fine. 95 slowing, Dale City into Woodbridge, does remain heavy into Newington. Same up onto 395, lanes open, but a delay Edsel Road toward King Street. Then again, a little heavy traffic to cross the 14th. 66 going west as you approach 28, Centerville, exit 53. A crash had been along the right side. Business 234 near Sudley Manor Drive. Also there, we'd had reports of a crash. Let Granicus, Carasoft, and all their reseller partners support your agency's year-end IT needs with Carasoft's federally focused 24/7 assistance. Learn more at countoncarasoft.com. Jack Taylor, WTOP Traffic.
Our forecast now, here's Chad Merrill.
Have the air conditioners blasting today. Temperatures reaching the upper 80s. Could have a shower or two later this afternoon as a cold front approaches. Most of that moisture staying north into Pennsylvania. Patchy fog west of Washington, clearing skies, still muggy with upper 60s overnight. You'll notice the drop in humidity on Tuesday, still warm with upper 80s. Wednesday, we're back into the heat and the humidity, mid to upper 80s. And then Thursday, a cold front comes through, gusty showers, a little bit cooler with highs near 80. I'm Storm Team 4's Chad Merrill.
And right now, it's 68 degrees at DuPont Circle. Germantown comes in at 61, and it's 66 outside the WTOP studios.
6:41 now. All of Puerto Rico is without power after Hurricane Fiona crashed ashore. The storm hit the island yesterday as a Category 1 hurricane.
Hurricane Fiona crashed ashore with force in Puerto Rico on Sunday. Authorities have opened shelters and closed public beaches, urging people to remain indoors. Historic levels of rain are triggering landslides and flooding.
Meteorologist Mike Seidel is in Ponce in Puerto Rico. President Biden declared a state of emergency there as Fiona approached the island.
Meantime, WTOP's Steve Dresner has covered hurricanes and tropical storms in Puerto Rico and tells us what it's like surviving the natural disaster.
People may have generators, but it's all about water, getting supplies in, and that takes time by boats, by airdrops. But again, you're paralyzed with no communications. A lot of people live and die by cell phones. You have to power the towers, and they don't even have any power. If you don't have satellite internet, it's going to be tough to communicate with the outside world, so to speak. What I will tell you is the ham radio operators, which are great. I'm also a ham radio operator, but I was reading on Twitter, they're playing a big part in this and keeping the pictures and the communications going.
It's 6:42 now. A detainee held at Guantanamo Bay for years says he was released back to the Taliban in exchange for an American prisoner held in Afghanistan. Bashir Nurzai, a notorious drug lord and member of the Taliban, told reporters in Kabul he was the last Taliban prisoner there. The Taliban's foreign minister says the American released was Mark Frericks, a Navy veteran and civilian contractor who was kidnapped in Afghanistan January 31st of 2020. There's been no independent confirmation or word from Washington on Frerich's release.
Still to come on WTOP, it's a final farewell to Britain's Queen Elizabeth. It's underway at the moment. Let's listen in for a moment here.
No fears, nor hopes, but one equal possession.
We'll have an update coming up in just a moment, 6:43.
The NFL is back, and one of the things I love about betting on the league is that I'm always finding new players or game props that I like. Dave Preston here, and what's cool about FanDuel Sportsbook is you can combine these props with other bets from the same game to score an even bigger payout. For example, I can take the over in Kirk Cousins' passing yards, the money line for the Eagles, and Jalen Hurts to score an anytime touchdown. Same game parlay is just one of the reasons that when I bet with FanDuel. It's easy to use, easy to register, easy to deposit, easy to find your bet, and most importantly, easy to get paid. New to FanDuel Sportsbook, get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with promo code PRESTO. That's promo code PRESTO. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older and present in Virginia. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I'm Tamron Hall. Doesn't your family deserve the best? Eggland's best eggs. Classic, cage-free, and organic. Give you and your family more. More delicious farm-fresh taste, plus superior nutrition. Compared to ordinary eggs, Eggland's Best provides 6 times more vitamin D, 10 times more vitamin E, and 25% less saturated fat. These are no ordinary times, so why choose an ordinary egg? Only Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Diamonds Direct's incredible 5-year zero-interest financing is happening now. This weekend, you can spread your payments over 5 years on the exclusive Michael M collection, directly from Los Angeles, offering breathtaking handcrafted engagement rings and wedding bands with European style, sophistication, and classic elegance. See the entire Michael M bridal collection this Friday and Saturday, and take advantage of 5 years zero-interest financing. Unapproved credit only at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Sports at 15 and 45, powered by Maximus. Moving people and technology forward.
6:45, and here's Dave Johnson.
Oh, in D.C., you know we try, but there's no way to spin this one. The 36-27 loss by the Commandos of the Lions. Yeah, maybe we discovered why the Lions were, well, favored in this game in the first place. Remember, this Lions team scored 35 against Eagles last week, but Rob Woodford, he's not taking any of that.
It's time to start calling Washington the Commanders because there's no D. And what figures to be the easiest stretch of the Burgundy and Gold schedule, the defense has surrendered an average of 29 points and allowed 157 rushing yards per game at a 7.5 yard per carry clip. For all the talk of Carson Wentz proving himself in Washington, I want just one reason why Jack Del Rio should even be here one more minute.
And Dave Preston actually predicted there would be another coaching change on the defensive side before the end of the season, but we're just at 2 weeks into the season. Still on defense, the talent is there, but we've been saying that, remember, since 2020. And when's it going to show up on a consistent basis? Started to show improvement late last season. It seems like we're stuck back in a cul-de-sac. The Dolphins, 2-0 now. Tua Tagovailoa threw for 6 touchdowns yesterday. They stunned the Ravens 42-38. Packers 27-10 win over the Bears last night. Cooper Rush in for Dak Prescott, of course. Hey, he leads the Cowboys to a late victory over the Bengals. DC United, the 3-2 loss to Inter Miami. Major League Soccer is looking into accusations that Taxi Fuentes used a racial slur during that game, shortly after he scored a goal. With Becky Hammonds as head coach, the Las Vegas Aces, WNBA champs, they beat the Connecticut Sun. Next hour, check it on baseball. We're still playing it. Dave Johnson, WTOP Sports.
The top stories we're following for you on WTOP. At the funeral for Queen Elizabeth, the reading of the Lord's Prayer has just concluded at this hour inside Westminster Abbey. The state funeral has drawn hundreds of presidents, kings, princes, and prime ministers. Up to 1 million people are lining the streets of London to say their final goodbye.
A hearing will be held this afternoon in a Baltimore court that could bring freedom to Adnan Syed. He's the man imprisoned for the murder of his high school classmate more than 20 years ago. The crime case rose to national prominence when it was featured in the hit first season of the podcast called Serial.
A stretch of Virginia's long-awaited 66 express lanes are open for business now. The westernmost lanes offer a faster drive from Route 29 in Gainesville to U.S. Route 28 in Centerville. Stay with WTOP for more on these stories in just minutes.
Well, are you feeling adventurous? Pickles on your pizza is the latest trend to hit the district, and so far, it seems to be a hit.
You can put anything on a pizza, really. And over at Pizzeria Paradiso, yes, even pickles.
We've done pickle pizzas in the past.
Jeremy Bolo works for the local pizza spot.
They've been a little bit different, a little bit kind of out there for us, but we love the idea.
So how exactly do you make the perfect pickle pizza? Well, slow-cooked brisket, Thousand Island dressing, a few other delicious toppings, and the perfect dash of pizzazz. So if you're adventurous enough, like us folks in the WTOP newsroom, try it for yourself. You just might like it.
And we'll run it for as long as we can, as long as we have the supplies.
Melissa Howell, WTOP News.
You have to warm up to that one.
In a big way. It's 6:48. Traffic and weather on the 8s, and let's go check things out with Jack in the traffic center.
It seems like most of the activity on 95 in Maryland down near 216 may have cleared from the far left side of the roadway. Still a little bit of a delay behind it, but I think at this point, at least all your travel lanes are open. 270, same thing coming out of Frederick. You've got lanes open, but delays, leaving 70 passing, 85, and then moving through Urbana toward 109. Rest of the ride south, it's a lot of volume, but with not a lot of brake lights. Topside outer loop full of brake lights, headed from 95 over toward Georgia Avenue. 50 west at the Severn River Bridge. Crash cleanup remains in the far right lane of 3. 2 to the left will get you by. 70 west, they reblocked the left lane out near Mount Airy. There was an incident over on the left shoulder. Thinking at this point, potentially we've got a tow truck on scene. Now expect some slowing traffic on the inner loop south of town. We're heavy as you approach 210, headed down toward the Woodrow Wilson Bridge. Expect some slowing on the Baltimore-Washington Parkway. Fits and stops as you approach and pass 175, down 198 toward 197, then moving through the Beltway interchange. We're a little busier on 50 West and moving into Cheverly with your travel lanes open. Headed into the district, we're heavy on the inbound stretch of New York Avenue. Slow, though, DC 295 going south, headed toward East Capitol Street. Busier I-295 northbound, leaving Laboratory Road, then again up near Suitland Parkway. Heavy across the 11th Street Bridge onto the freeway, but so far nothing reported in your way. Police report now closure in northeast of Florida Avenue near Orange Street, putting it between 14th and 12th, again in northeast. We'd had a wreck on 66, headed westbound. Virginia State authorities are there before the ramp to go north on 28 before that split for Walney Road. The right lane had been closed. Eastbound was just a little heavy coming out of Centerville, then as you approach the Beltway. Inner loop's heavier now as you roll up from approaching Braddock Road from the Robinson Terminal, headed up toward 236. And we've got some brake lights 95 north and Woodbridge headed through Lorton. The Capitol Home Show, September 23rd through the 25th at the Dulles Expo Center. For more information and discount tickets, go to CapitolHomeShow.com. Jack Taylor, WTOP Traffic.
Chad Merrill, we are getting very close to official fall, but it sure won't feel like it today.
No, it won't. It'll feel like the middle of summer out there with temperatures in the upper 80s. Could have a shower or two this afternoon as a front comes through, but that front really isn't going to do much other than lower the humidity, which will feel nice on Tuesday with temperatures in the upper 80s. We start out in the upper 60s early on Tuesday with some patchy fog west of D.C. Wednesday, breezy and warm, humid, temperatures mid-80s, and then with the arrival of the autumnal equinox on Thursday, Mother Nature will bring a cold front through with some gusty showers, temperatures in the middle 70s. It'll get cold enough that by Saturday morning there will be some frost west of Interstate 81. So finally, some fall weather around here. It is 61 in Monrovia and Bristow, 66 in Burtonsville, and 65 in Hagerstown.
All right, thank you so much, Chad. And we've got 67 outside our studios. It's brought to you by Dulles Glass. For all your glass, mirror, and shower door needs, visit DullesGlass.com. Dulles Glass, love your glass.
Coming up on WTOP, President Biden joins hundreds of dignitaries in Britain to say goodbye to Queen Elizabeth at her funeral, now underway at Westminster Abbey. We'll have a special report. 6:52.
Here's Matt Mandrock, the head of U.S. Public Sector at Zoom, on Workplace Reimagined, sponsored by Zoom.
Employees now are demanding autonomy, flexibility, and most important, the need for technology to support the way of working. The government is needing to meet these fast-changing demands, and it's essential for a virtual experience to be as good as, if not better, than an in-person experience.
Listen to the entire discussion on Federal News Network. Search Zoom.
Across the virtual halls of government, federal employees trust Zoom for government communications and collaboration, and to engage with the public in serving their mission. Zoom for Government with ATOs across the federal spectrum is U.S.-based, using the AWS GovCloud and 2 co-located data centers. Zoom has authorizations and attestations with FedRAMP, DoD's impact level classification, FIPS 140 cryptography, and supports over 300 NIST controls. Learn more at Carasoft.com/Zoom.
Safeway offers more savings at the pump. Earn up to $1 off per gallon in gas reward points at participating ExxonMobil or Safeway fuel stations. Enter your phone number at checkout and earn reward points today. Other restrictions and exclusions apply. For complete details, go to Safeway.com/rewards.
What does 25 cents back on every purchase mean to you? A free lunch? That gadget you've been eyeing? A night out with the fellas? With your Primus Perks checking account, you get 25 cents back with every purchase using your debit card and zero ATM, overdraft, or annual fees. With this completely free account, you can watch the money roll in with every swipe and find the freedom to go further with your cash. Primus, the bank that gets it right. Primus is a member FDIC. ATM transactions do not count towards debit card rewards.
This is WTOP News.
6:53 here as we continue our coverage of the Queen's funeral.
CBS News special report, remembering the life of Queen Elizabeth II.
I'm Vicki Barker, live in London, where the funeral for Britain's longest reigning monarch is underway in Westminster Abbey.
We praise God for her constant example of Christian faith and devotion.
King Charles, sons William and Harry, and other senior royals among the 2,000 remembering and mourning. Officiant David Hoyle.
With admiration, we recall her lifelong sense of duty and dedication to her people.
The service will end shortly with a 2-minute silence. CBS's Ian Lee tells us what happens then.
After the funeral, a procession will carry the Queen's coffin through the historic heart of London as Big Ben rings out one last time for Her Majesty.
The royal hearse will then take Elizabeth to Windsor Castle for a private burial service with just close family present. CBS News Special Report. I'm Vicki Barker, live in London.
Money News at 25 and 55. It has been a second straight week of frustration for football fans who are customers of DirecTV's NFL Sunday Ticket. DirecTV said via social media, customers trying to stream yesterday's 1 p.m. games on the app were not able to do so. The company said it was able to fix the server problems that caused the blackout, but not until after 4 p.m., which, of course, was too late for those trying to view the early games.
When you're looking at job postings, you want to know what the salary is, right? Well, Jeff Claybaugh says you're increasingly likely to.
You don't learn much from commensurate with experience or competitive pay. A Towers Watson survey found 19% of companies now plan to give pay ranges in postings. 43% are considering it. Pay disclosure is not required in most states.
Currently, 17% of companies already provide pay ranges in states that don't have legal requirements to do so.
Coming up on WTOP, funeral services for Queen Elizabeth II are underway right now. We'll continue our coverage with special reports. Hurricane Fiona bearing down on the Dominican Republic this morning after pounding Puerto Rico. And there's a state of disaster in Alaska after unprecedented flooding there from a storm. 6:56.
Of all the multitudinous manifestations that water can take, in oceans and ice cubes, in glaciers and streams, vapors and rain, double black diamonds, lap swims, and brains. Of all that water everywhere, only 0.5% is fresh water available for human use. That's why at Moen, we're innovating to save 1 trillion gallons of water by 2030. Discover Mission Moen at moen.com.
Government agencies need digital connectivity like never before.
No matter where you are on your cloud journey, seamless, reliable access to data is key to success. Boomi offers a cloud-native unified platform that connects mission-critical legacy systems with best-of-breed cloud applications. As a leader and innovator, Boomi provides FedRAMP authorized technologies for eliminating application integration and workflow automation challenges to connect everyone to everything anywhere. Visit boomi.com/public sector to learn more.
When you think of hiring, think of Indeed. Their end-to-end hiring systems help you attract, interview, and hire candidates all at the same place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
This is WTOP News. WTOP FM Washington. WWWTFM Manassas. WTLP FM Braddock Heights, Frederick.
Traffic and weather on the 8s, and it's back to Jack in the traffic center.
Still slowing in Virginia, running on that stretch of 66 going in the eastbound direction. We're heavy leaving Centerville. There'd been a wreck on 66 west out near the ramp to 28 northbound. It had been along the right side of the roadway. Now we've got a trouble spot in Centerville on 29 south as you go under 66 in Centerville. We'd had I think the left side of the roadway getting by. The camera back there is far enough away you can see all the flashing lights, and traffic as it approaches does stay along that far left side. And there's that possibility of temporarily stopping traffic, so just factor that in. 95 northbound, we'd been slow off and on Woodbridge riding toward Newington. Business 234 down your Sudley Manor Drive. There'd been an earlier wreck. In Maryland, trying to move toward Annapolis on 50 west. The crash at the foot of the Severn River Bridge cleared from the right side of the roadway. The delay still there. You'll find the Beltway slower, topside outer loop, 95 over toward Georgia Avenue. Thankfully, the wreck gone, 95 south down near 216. Earlier had it in a camera shot. All the activity seems to have left the left side of the roadway. The WTOP Traffic Center is presented by Window Nation. No payment, no interest until 2025. Visit windownation.com today. Jack Taylor, WTOP Traffic.
Chad Merrill has our forecast.
We've got lots of sunshine here on your Monday. Temperatures reaching the upper 80s. We drop back to the upper 60s overnight with some patchy fog west of Washington. Plenty of sunshine, upper 80s, low humidity on Tuesday. Breezy and warm mid 80s on Wednesday. Showers with a cold front, temperatures mid 70s on Thursday. I'm Storm Team 4's Chad Merrill.
61 at Fort Belvoir at the moment, and we've got some clear skies, 66 degrees outside the WTOP studios.
You're listening to WTOP, Washington's top news. Live, local, 24/7. This hour of news is sponsored by Lido Pizza. Lido Pizza never cuts corners.
Good morning, I'm Bruce Allen.
And I'm Joan Jones, and coming up,
the state funeral for Britain's Queen Elizabeth is underway at Westminster Abbey.
Challenges coming to Virginia's new policy on the rights of transgender students. I'm Neil Augenstein.
The I-66 express lanes are open. What to expect during your commute. I'm Melissa Howell.
A Baltimore court hearing in a controversial murder case. I'm Dick Iuliano.
Why one area man's trip to the gym ended with a ride to jail. I'm Mike Murillo.
Good morning, it's 7 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Rocket Mortgage.
I'm Vicki Barker in London, where Queen Elizabeth's funeral has just ended with a minute's silence for Britain's longest reigning monarch. King Charles and his royal relatives, some 500 heads of state and dignitaries gathered in the Abbey where Elizabeth was married and where 7 decades ago she was crowned.
In grief and also in profound thanksgiving, we come to this house of God, to a place of prayer, to a church where remembrance and hope are sacred duties.
The coffin is being carried out of the Abbey, and then, a few minutes from now, pipers and drummers will lead the most massive military procession since the funeral of Winston Churchill in 1965. This woman camped out overnight for a good view.
It's a moment of history. It's a moment that we never get to experience probably in our lifetime.
King Charles leading his royal relatives in a 2-mile procession through central London, including 2 of the youngest royals, commentator Tina Brown.
The little Prince George and his sister Charlotte, this is their first real inculcation into the royal training. They've already appeared on the Jubilee balcony, but this is what they are going to remember for the rest of their lives when they walked behind Queen Elizabeth II's coffin.
Then the royal hearse will take the Queen to Windsor Castle for burial beside her late husband and royal relatives. I'm Vicki Barker in London. Now with more CBS News, here's Monica Ricks.
Puerto Rico is in the dark this morning after a devastating hit from Fiona. Meteorologist Mike Seidel is there.
Hurricane Fiona crashed to shore with force in Puerto Rico on Sunday. Authorities have opened shelters and closed public beaches, urging people to remain indoors. Historic levels of rain are triggering landslides and flooding.
The governor says the damage is catastrophic. In Alaska, a state of disaster after remnants of a typhoon caused severe flooding there. CBS's Jonathan Vigliotti.
From Newtok to Nome, entire towns were completely submerged, with roads destroyed and homes ripped off their foundation.
Some high-profile insurrection trials start soon in Washington.
Doug Jensen of Iowa is the man prosecutors say was at the front of that mob January 6th, confronting that solitary U.S. Capitol Police officer. He goes on trial this week, and that officer, Eugene Goodman, is expected to testify.
CBS's Scott McFarlane. And Nissan is recalling more than 200,000 Frontier and Titan pickup trucks in the U.S. The company says they can roll away, even in park. This is CBS News.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Whether you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance yours, Rocket Mortgage can help you get there. For home loan solutions that fit your life, Rocket can.
7:03 on this Monday morning. It's the 19th of September. The clouds will build. It'll get warmer and humid today, and our highs near 88. Good morning to you. I'm Joan Jones.
And I'm Bruce Allen. Here are the top local stories we're following for you this hour. Governor Glenn Youngkin's administration is behind new Virginia Department of Education policies on the rights of transgender students. The changes would affect which bathroom transgender students use, inform parents about the child's gender identity, and not force teachers to use the child's chosen pronoun. But there will be challenges.
On Monday, things will not be completely different.
Delegate Danica Rome says the new Youngkin administration guidelines violate the Virginia Human Rights Act, which protects people from discrimination on the basis of their gender identity in public settings, including schools.
I would not be surprised if there was a lawsuit because of what, the governor's doing here.
As for transgender athletes, right now the Virginia High School League makes case-by-case decisions.
The governor does not have the executive authority to tell that private entity what to do.
The governor's spokeswoman says the policy's crafted to comply with all state and federal laws. Neil Augenstein, WTOP News.
School districts in Virginia must adopt the policies after a 30-day comment period beginning on the 26th.
The I-66 express lanes in Virginia are now open, and officials are making sure that drivers know what to expect when they head out.
If you're planning to jump on the I-66 express lanes, you can expect a pretty smooth drive overall.
Getting the lanes open went well as could be expected.
Nancy Smith is with I-66 Express Mobility Partners and says exit and entrance points along the corridor are limited, so you'll want to plan ahead. For every 3 mainline exits, you'll find roughly 1 express exit. One of the challenges, Susan Shaw with VDOT says drivers should expect some congestion in certain areas.
Continue to look for ways to improve that as much as we can, but the true relief will be once the 28 interchange is in its final configuration and the express lanes are extended all the way to the Beltway.
Melissa Howell, WTOP News.
For a complete guide on exit and entrance points along I-66, visit our website at WTOP.com.
A woman has died after a multi-car crash on I-270 in Rockville. Maryland State Police say about 3:30 yesterday morning, a Tesla rear-ended another car in the northbound lanes. Then as those cars were stopped along the roadway, another car crashed into them. A passenger in the first car was killed and 2 other people were taken to a hospital. The driver of the Tesla was taken to Maryland State Police Barracks for questioning. He was suspected of driving while impaired, but he was released after troopers consulted with the Montgomery County State's Attorney. Once the investigation is complete, the state's attorney's office will determine what, if any, charges should be filed.
A hearing is being held this afternoon at a Baltimore court that could bring freedom to Adnan Syed. He's the man in prison for the murder of his high school classmate and girlfriend more than 20 years ago.
It's the murder case given national prominence when it was featured in the hit first season of the podcast Serial. While Adnan Syed is serving a life sentence for killing Hae Min Lee in 1999, prosecutors say he deserves a new trial and should be released while the investigation continues. State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby says there's new information about other suspects in Lee's murder and questions over evidence used to convict Syed. Dick Iuliano, WTOP News.
Now, WTOP will be following this case and will bring you updates this afternoon.
Coming up after traffic and weather, 2 local pubs are open early this morning for Queen Elizabeth's funeral. It's 7:07.
Need help accelerating your IT modernization? Look no further. Appian is a leading low-code provider for the public sector, helping agencies simplify application development and get the most value out of the IT tools they already have. The unified Appian low-code platform is reliable, scalable, and now secure at Impact Level 5. Build, deploy, and manage your next solutions with Appian. Start today at appian.com/government. appian.com/government.
Do you have an air conditioning emergency? If so, you need HVAC 911. Call 301-939-0499 or visit HVAC911.com/EC for service 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The most skilled and experienced HVAC technicians in the DMV are only a call away with HVAC 911. It's summer and it's hot. Get help now with the trained and trusted technicians of HVAC 911. Call 301-939-0499 or visit HVAC911.com/DC for service 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Our HVAC 911 metro area preferred contractors are here to service your emergencies, plan maintenance for your furnace and air conditioners, or to install a new, efficient system. Call 301-939-0499 or visit HVAC911.com/DC for service 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Brought to you by Steamfitters Local 602.
It's 7:08.
Slow or clogged drains? Call Michael & Son and get $100 off at drain cleaning today.
Traffic and weather on the 8s. Now to Jack Taylor on the WTOP Traffic Center.
All right, we've done better on 50 in Maryland on the westbound stretch up at the Severn River Bridge. We had an earlier wreck that had been only blocking a right lane. Now it sounds like we may have some more activity off the bridge, hoping that is just, again, off of the roadway. At one point, they'd claimed all lanes were blocked, and I'm not sure if that's if fire department arrived on scene and then moved everything possibly from one side to the other. Hopefully, all lanes are open as you cross that Severn River Bridge now. You're going to find the outer loop of the Beltway. We'd had some activity, some slowing traffic from 95 toward Georgia Avenue. In the delay at Colesville Road, there is a wreck that is safely over on that right shoulder. Now, inner loop looks good, headed through College Park. We've got some slowing south of town as you approach 210 down toward the Wilson Bridge. Also heavier 50 west inside the Beltway moving into and through Cheverly. 70 west out toward Mount Airy after exit 68 on the westbound stretch. There was an earlier wreck that was on the shoulder. That has also cleared now. All right, in Virginia, running 66 coming in the eastbound direction. Some slowing after 28 in Centerville. At 50, then again near Nutley toward the Beltway. Inner loop, you'll slow Braddock Road to 236. 29 in Centerville, the southbound lanes under I-66, temporarily stopping them at times. I think you'll be getting by single file left under crew direction. Business 234 up near Sudley Manor Drive. We'd had an earlier wreck. 95 northbound, we did have some sporadic slowing. Stafford into Aquia, Dale City into Woodbridge, moving into and through Lorton. 395, a little bit of a delay coming out of the Springfield interchange north, headed towards Seminary Road. Then you're definitely slowed across the 14th, but that is just volume. There was an earlier issue in the district in Northeast. Florida Avenue had been blocked between 14th and 12th. There was a wreck at Orange Street. That is now cleared in Northeast. All your travel lanes once again open. Traffic's brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Proud to serve members of the Armed Forces, DOD, veterans, and their families. The members are the mission. Learn more at NavyFederal.org. Jack Taylor, WTOP Traffic.
And our forecast here with Chad Merrill.
Well, we've got a changeable weather week here in the Washington area. Plenty of sunshine today. Temperatures actually pretty warm this afternoon with upper 80s. Perhaps a shower or two. Best chance near the Mason-Dixon line. Patchy fog west of Washington. Still humid. Upper 60s overnight. Plenty of sunshine on your Tuesday. Low humidity. Feeling great outside. Temperatures still in the upper 80s. Wednesday still warm and muggy with mid 80s. And then things change on Thursday as a front comes through and temperatures near 80. I'm Storm Team 4's Chad Merrill.
Right now, we have 61 degrees in Rockville, 63 in Ashburn, 62 in District Heights, and we're at 67 here in Friendship Heights. Brought to you by Long Fence. Save 15% on Long Fence decks, pavers, and fences. Go to longfence.com today and schedule your free in-home estimate.
It's 7-Eleven, and police have tracked down a Fredericksburg man after he took police on a chase in Stafford County last month.
It was back on August the 11th when a Stafford County deputy tried to stop a man on a Can-Am, which is a three-wheeled motorcycle, after the deputy clocked the bike going 100 miles per hour in a 55-mile-per-hour zone. According to the deputy, before disappearing in traffic, the rider of that motorcycle pointed a weapon at the patrol car. Since then, detectives worked to figure out who that rider was. The department says they finally got their answer, and then 32-year-old Paul Hayden of Fredericksburg was located. On Thursday, Virginia State Police arrested Hayden as he left his gym. He's now facing several charges, including assault on a law enforcement officer. Mike Murillo, WTOP News.
At the Great Frederick Fair Saturday night, a group of teenagers gathered inside Gate 1 and began fighting. The Frederick News-Post reports while police tried to arrest one of the teens, the crowd interfered with the arrest. Police had to use pepper spray and the crowd dispersed. Then another crowd formed, and when deputies tried breaking it up, a teenage girl allegedly hit a deputy in the chest. She was arrested, then the crowd was again dispersed. Both the boy and the girl have been charged and were banned from ever returning to the fairgrounds.
A couple of pubs in the nation's capital are open early this morning.
They're hosting screenings of the state funeral of Queen Elizabeth. The Brighton, D.C. pub opened at 5:30 this morning, as did the Queen Vic British pub, which is pouring pints until 2:30 this afternoon. On Twitter, the Queen Vic requested that everyone be respectful and supportive during the funeral.
CBS News correspondent Christopher Cruz reporting.
The funeral has officially ended. The Queen's coffin is being walked out of Westminster Abbey right now. We will continue to keep you posted on developments overseas through the morning here at 7:13.
Oh, it's Monday, the end of week 2 of the NFL season, but a great time to get started on FanDuel Sportsbook. This is Dave Johnson, and what I'm talking about, if you're new to FanDuel Sportsbook, get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with the promo code Dave Johnson. Remember the promo code Dave Johnson. Now, when you download the FanDuel Sportsbook app, you will discover so many player and game props, and on FanDuel Sportsbook, you can combine these props with other bets in the same game to score an even bigger payout. For example, tonight, Eagles and Vikings taking Jalen Hurts over on the passing yards. Jalen Hurts' first touchdown score. Justin Jefferson over on the receiving yards. Oh, love same game parlay on FanDuel Sportsbook. Also, ease of use and fast withdrawals. When you win, you get paid fast on FanDuel. And remember, new to FanDuel Sportsbook, get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with the promo code Dave Johnson. 101 Plus and President Virginia, first online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issues, non-withdrawable free bets expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Who says you can't have flexibility, choice, and convenience working at the office? Industrious, the premium co-working and flexible office company, transforms the entire DC metro area into your workplace. Maybe you need a shorter commute time or even a simple change in scenery. With an Industrious membership, you'll have over a dozen convenient locations to choose from across the metro area. Your new office awaits you at industriousoffice.com/DMV. Book a tour today. Industrious, the office you want, where you want it.
Thompson Creek designs, builds, and installs replacement windows without supply chain delays that other window dealers are seeing. You get high-quality windows at an affordable price, direct from our local factory, installed faster than other window companies. Plus, it's our biggest sale of the year, with 25% off all windows and doors, plus no interest until April 2024. See ThompsonCreek.com for details. Call 855-57-CREEK before this offer is gone.
Home sweet Thompson Creek.
Sports at 15 and 45, powered by Red River. Technology decisions aren't black and white. Think red.
7:15, what do you have for us, Dave?
Well, I was trying to figure out where this headache's coming from. I'm talking about the Commanders all morning. That's it. I've been popping aspirin. Oh, what a headache. Breaking down the breakdowns. Commanders 36-27 loss to Lions. And for George Wallace.
Chance to get to 2-0 in the somewhat soft part of your schedule and build off last week and take the next step, which you've told us all off season.
you're ready to do.
Yeah, George been saying, driving us crazy since July. They got to go 2-0, got to go 2-0. Well, they're now not 2-0. Did not look ready yesterday to get off the bus, for goodness sakes. They were down 21.5. Still, head coach Ron Rivera watching his quarterback, Carson Wentz.
I saw some gumption, I mean, he's been very gritty. He was very gritty last week, very gritty this week.
That's great, but anytime they use the word gumption, it probably didn't end well. Wentz, though, 7 touchdowns first 2 weeks, but a bad day for the offensive line. Commander center Chase Rouillet injured late. And I know the Lions scored 35 last week against the Eagles, but still George Wallace.
Too many yards given up on defense, and when they needed a stop, they could not get it. Jack Del Rio's seat did not get any cooler.
Yeah, and Jack Del Rio's presser on Thursday. We're going to be talking about that on WTOP. Commanders and Eagles next. Eagles, of course, play tonight. Ravens trying to pick up the pieces after a stunning 42-38 loss to the Dolphins. DC United 3-2 loss to Inter Miami. MLS is looking into accusations Taxi Funtas used a racial slur. The WNBA title, the winners, the Las Vegas Aces beat the Connecticut Sun. The Orioles, 5-4 win of the Blue Jays. Hey, look, they're 4 out of a wild card. Dave Johnson, WTOP Sports.
The top stories we're following for you this morning on WTOP. Funeral service have officially ended for Queen Elizabeth II. The royal family was joined by 2,000 dignitaries, including President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden, at Westminster Abbey. Huge crowds lined the streets of London to pay respects to its longest-serving monarch.
Hurricane Fiona bore down on the Dominican Republic this morning after knocking out power and unleashing flooding and landslides in Puerto Rico. Winds were clocked at 85 miles an hour and up to 30 inches of rain was forecast. So far, no deaths have been reported.
Russian bombs have hit a nuclear power plant in the south of Ukraine early this morning, but the reactors have not been damaged and appear to be working normally. The attack has also damaged a nearby hydroelectric power plant and transmission lines. In a statement, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says Russia endangers the whole world. We have to stop it before it's too late. Stay with WTOP for more on these stories in just minutes.
There are reports of a bear sighting in a part of this region. Police in Vienna say they're getting reports of a black bear sighting in the 300 block of Park Street Northeast. Police say if you do spot a bear, don't approach it or try to feed it. Instead, move indoors and report the sighting to the Virginia Department of Wildlife Resources.
Wow. 7:18 now. Traffic and weather on the 8s. Back to Jack Taylor on the WTOP Traffic Center.
Hey, in Virginia, keep an eye out on the Beltway just in case on the outer loop. As you come away from 66, headed down toward Gallows Road, after exit 51, you see a lot of presents on the right shoulder. Not Christmas presents kind of thing, but presents were by way of VDOT and Virginia State. We've got a bunch of vehicles with flat tires, so unclear if maybe we had some sort of debris in the roadway as you approached or past Gallows Road. But again, a lot of activity over on that right shoulder with those flat tires. Staying in Virginia, 66 going west. Before the ramp to head up onto 28 north, you've got some activity there blocking with the crash in the far right lane. 29 south in Centerville under 66, you're going to find the crash. I think you're still getting by single file left. Beltway inner loop does remain a bit heavy to the Robinson Terminal, riding up toward 236. 95, we've got some slowing just out of Falmouth. In Woodbridge, then again moving toward Lorton and Newington. 395's heavy come from the Beltway north up to King Street. Then again a little delay north of Washington Boulevard, headed to and across the inbound 14th Street Bridge. Riding in the district, we are heavier on the freeway, both sides, headed toward the 3rd Street Tunnel. Some heavy traffic on DC 295 toward East Capitol Street and Pennsylvania Avenue. Also some slowing out of Oxon Cove, I-295 going north, headed up past Laboratory Road. Nebraska Avenue between Connecticut Avenue and Nevada Avenue. There we'd had reports of a wreck in Northwest. We cleared a crash headed toward Annapolis. 50 going westbound out near the Severn River Bridge. Lanes are now open. Rest of the ride through Annapolis and Bowie, you're fine. Baltimore-Washington Parkway slows. 198 toward 197. Slowdowns on 95. Approach and pass Route 32 as you head down toward 216. Some activity under the bridge sitting on the left shoulder. 270 slowed near the Monocacy into Urbana, down toward 109. Then heavy passing Montgomery Village Avenue, but you look good as you head down the rest of the way toward the spur. On the house, no charge. complimentary. For a limited time, Silver Diner's offering free delivery through silverdiner.com. Order today. Offer ends September 30th. Silver Diner. Eat well. Be well. Jack Taylor, WTOP Traffic.
And our forecast here, Chad Merrill, looks like we're going to warm things up again today.
Joan and Bruce, we are going to be in the upper 80s this afternoon with a shower or two. The best chance for storms, though, will be north of the Mason-Dixon line. So it'll get a little dark this afternoon, but it won't be as bad as what comes through when the front comes through. That front will drive in some lower humidity, but we have to wait until Tuesday afternoon to benefit from that lower humidity. Upper 60s overnight with some patchy fog west of D.C. Upper 80s, beautiful on Tuesday afternoon. The humidity comes back on Wednesday, and then showers and maybe even a couple thunderstorms along a strong front on Thursday. That's the front that's going to keep Fiona off the coast, so it will not impact us. We will have some breezy winds behind that front with mid-70s to near 80 degrees, and then cooler for the rest of the week. 64 at BWI Marshall, 61 at Dulles International, and still a warm 68 at Reagan National Airport.
And it's brought to you this morning by Len the Plumber. Trusted same-day service 7 days a week.
Up ahead here on WTOP, the latest as our coverage continues of the state funeral of Queen Elizabeth II. Her coffin now leaving Westminster Abbey. We have a special report just ahead. It's 7:22.
The Greater Washington Board of Trade is a professional membership community representing top, vibrant, and diverse leaders who work together to build strong economic growth for the D.C. region. And now, here's Regional Business Insights with Blue Jenkins, President and CEO of Washington Gas, a member of the Greater Washington Board of Trade.
Challenging times can strike any family at any time. As part of the vibrant D.C. community, Washington Gas is here for you. If you are having trouble with your energy bill, we have many ways to help you, including financial assistance plans and flexible payment options. Learn more at WashingtonGasCares.com.
The Greater Washington Board of Trade is pro-business and nonpartisan. It is where local leaders work together to drive inclusive, resilient, and sustainable economic growth for the region. Go to BOT.org to learn more about the important issues that Board of Trade members are tackling today. That's BOT.org.
When it comes to the future of Army aviation, Defiant X gives soldiers the edge. Transformational X2 technology delivers increased speed, range, and maneuverability. Led by Lockheed Martin, Sikorsky, and Boeing, and powered by a strong, diverse team of suppliers, Defiant X not only delivers for the Army, it maintains the nation's proven helicopter industrial base and sustains good-paying American jobs. Defiant X, the best choice for the Army's mission and America's future.
What does 25 cents back on every purchase mean to you? A free lunch? That gadget you've been eyeing? A night out with the fellas? With your Primus Perks checking account, you get 25 cents back with every purchase using your debit card and zero ATM, overdraft, or annual fees. With this completely free account, you can watch the money roll in with every swipe and find the freedom to go further with your cash. Primus, the bank that gets it right. Primus is a member FDIC. ATM transactions do not count towards debit card rewards.
This is WTOP News.
It's 7:24.
CBS News special report, remembering the life of Queen Elizabeth II.
I'm Vicki Barker, live in London, where Britain's longest reigning monarch has been remembered in a funeral service as unabashedly Christian as she was.
Let us pray that we may be given grace to live as those who believe in the communion of saints, the forgiveness of sins, and the resurrection to eternal life.
Another eulogist, the Archbishop of Canterbury, recalled 70 years of duty.
Her late Majesty famously declared on a 21st birthday broadcast that her whole life would be dedicated to serving the nation and Commonwealth.
After a 2-minute silence, the 2,000 royals, dignitaries, and courtiers present sang "God Save the King" as the coffin bearing the Queen was carried slowly out of Westminster Abbey. CBS News special report. I'm Vicki Barker in London.
Funny news at 25 and 55, a future filled with flying cars may be closer to reality. Chinese researchers say they road-tested modified passenger cars that use magnets to float a little more than an inch above a conductor rail. The researchers outfitted sedans with powerful magnets on the vehicle floors, allowing them to levitate over a conductor rail nearly 5 miles long.
Wow. Most people who've changed jobs recently are making more at the new one. But Jeff Claybaugh says pay is not the top reason they left their old job.
Resume Builder says workers who took a new job in the last year are making an average 8% more, but not making enough money at the old job ranks number 3 for why they left. The top reason? Bad management. More than 50% said so, followed closely by too much stress.
The Resume Builder survey found 69% of those who've changed jobs in the last year are already keeping their eyes out for another new one.
Money News sponsored by the Maryland Department of Health.
With new COVID variants emerging, it's more critical than ever to get and stay COVID ready. Visit covidlink.maryland.gov for simple steps to stay protected and prepared. A message from the Maryland Department of Health.
Up ahead here on WTOP, the White House walks back comments made by the president over Taiwan. And we continue our coverage this morning of the funeral of Queen Elizabeth II. A special report is just ahead, 726.
There's good news when it comes to prostate cancer. New prostate cancer cases continue to decline, while survival rates increase. Better screening options are helping doctors detect cancer sooner, and modern treatments are helping patients live longer and have a better quality of life. Dr. Jonathan Wong, a urologist at MedStar Washington Hospital Center, says a team approach to care benefits prostate cancer patients.
We look at the whole picture to determine the most effective treatment options for patients with a strong emphasis on quality of life. Our multidisciplinary team is truly comprehensive and collaborative. It includes not only cancer experts and surgeons, but also licensed therapists to help manage all aspects of prostate cancer care. We pride ourselves in providing a safe and empathetic environment where patients feel comfortable discussing their concerns.
For more insights from Dr. Wong and to learn more about prostate cancer screening and treatment, please visit medstarwashington.org/intel or call 202-877-DOCS for a consultation. Medical Intel, sponsored weekly by MedStar Washington Hospital Center.
WTOP is always on, even when your car isn't. Download the WTOP app to listen live or ask your smart speaker. Just say, Alexa, open WTOP, or OK Google, play WTOP. The latest news, 24/7, 365. WTOP is everywhere you are. Brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union, where members are the mission. Visit NavyFederal.org, insured by NCUA.
It's 728. Traffic and weather on the 8s. Jack Taylor at the WTOP Traffic Center.
All right, we have some slowing on our Beltway in Virginia, leaving the Robinson Terminal, riding up toward Braddock Road and 236. There's activity on the outer loop of the Beltway. VDOT's assisting a number of vehicles with flat tires on the outer loop after Gallows Road. They're on the right shoulder. 29 in Centerville, southbound under 66. The crash off the roadway right side. 66 headed west. That ramp to take you on to northbound 28 before the split for Walney and Braddock. We'd had a crash along the right side. New trouble now reported as you leave Springfield, going north on 395 in the main line before Seminary Road. Callers had a dump truck versus car in the center of the roadway. You'll find the inner loops a little bit heavy, leaving Alexandria near Route 1, headed toward Telegraph Road. Spotty delays 95 north, leaving Fredericksburg, slowing through Woodbridge, riding toward Lorton and Newington. Again, you've got your delay on 395, headed northbound toward that incident at Seminary. Then you'll slow again north of Washington Boulevard toward the 14th. Going into the district out of Maryland, 50 west, you'll slow near 410. BW Parkway slows near 202. Headed to go south onto DC 295, where it remains heavy all the way down to the inbound 11th Street Bridge. Trouble reported in Northwest, Nebraska Avenue, midway between Nevada Avenue and Connecticut Avenue. We'd had a report of crash. All right, in Maryland, 270 going south, slowing in the Monocacy into Urbana. Heavy and again, then moving south toward Clarksburg. Delays briefly in Germantown toward Montgomery Village Avenue. Topside outer loop slowed from 95 to Georgia Avenue. The activity that was on the shoulder at Colesville Road, gone. You will find 50 west was a little bit heavy as you approach the Severn River Bridge. An earlier wreck there cleared. It had been at one point at worst just a right lane getting by. The crash under 216 is on 95 southbound. It is safely on the left shoulder. Whether it's a kitchen, bathroom, or an addition, Optimum Construction is with you move from the design stage to project completion. Visit OptimumConstruction.com to schedule your in-home, no-obligation consultation. Jack Taylor, WTOP Traffic.
All right, let's check the forecast here with Chad Merrill.
We've got a beautiful start to our day. Temperatures rising through the 70s. Partial sunshine this afternoon. Can't rule out a shower. Best chance of activity in Pennsylvania. Temperatures, though, in the upper 80s. Clearing skies, some patchy fog west of Washington. Keep that in mind for the morning commute Tuesday, upper 60s. Mostly sunny, less muggy Tuesday afternoon, but still in the upper 80s. Wednesday, mid-80s, partly cloudy, breezy, and warm. Changeable on Thursday as a strong cold front comes through. I'm Storm Team 4's Chad Merrill.
68 degrees in Arlington, now 61 in Gaithersburg, and we have 62 degrees in Lanham.
Keep it here, our top stories in 60 seconds.
You can be Latino and not speak Spanish. You can be Latino even if others believe you don't look Latino. Today, more than ever, there's no one way of defining what it means to be Latino. But there is one way of defining how to make our community stronger. Being unidos. Because being unidos is the best way to create more and better opportunities for all of us. Unidos US, the largest Latino civil rights organization in the United States. Join us. Visit unidosus.org.
Your mission success depends on the security of your information. At Leidos, our scalable and high-speed full-spectrum cyber is that bedrock of security. We operate 3 of the 4 largest security operations centers for the federal government, applying decades of insights to deliver rapid, secure, and scalable cyber solutions for agencies of every size. When the mission is what matters most, Leidos delivers full-spectrum cybersecurity at scale and at speed. leidos.com/secure.
This is WTOP. Today's top news, traffic, and weather. The WTOP Producers Desk is wired by IBEW Local 26, where electrical contractors come to grow.
Good morning, I'm Bruce Allen.
And I'm Joan Jones. Luke Lukert is our producer. And our top story this morning, the funeral of Queen Elizabeth II.
CBS News special report, remembering the life of Queen Elizabeth II.
Britain says a final goodbye to Queen Elizabeth.
We praise God for her constant example of Christian faith and devotion.
About 2,000 dignitaries and world leaders gathered at Westminster Hall in London this morning for the Queen's funeral. They held a moment of silence, then sang the national anthem. The Queen's coffin now making its way to Windsor Castle, led by King Charles. CBS's Vicky Barker is in London.
The massive procession is making its slow way from Westminster Abbey to Wellington Arch, 2 miles away. Pipers and drummers leading the way, multiple marching bands taking part, the coffin pulled by Royal Navy sailors, the royal family following on foot.
Thousands of mourners are also lining the streets along the way. CBS News Special Report, I'm Monica Ricks.
7:33 now. Members of Congress are sparring over the efforts of Republican governors to draw attention to the surge of migrants at the southern border. WTOP's Mitchell Miller has Today on the Hill.
It is pathetic that these governors are taking advantage of these helpless people.
The chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Dick Durbin, criticizing Texas Governor Greg Abbott and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for busing and flying migrants to locations including Washington and Martha's Vineyard. He spoke on NBC's Meet the Press. But Ohio Republican Warren Davidson defends their tactics, including the dropping off of migrants outside the home of the vice president here in D.C. last week.
Vice President Harris won't go to the border. I'm glad that governors have gotten her attention.
While there's plenty of finger-pointing, members of both parties have failed for years to come together on immigration reform, and that won't change ahead of the midterm elections. On Capitol Hill, Mitchell Miller, WTOP News.
Reaction this morning from China to President Biden's statement that American forces would defend Taiwan if Beijing tries to invade. China's foreign ministry says the president's remarks on CBS's 60 Minutes last night violate Washington's commitment not to support formal independence for Taiwan. It's a step the Beijing has said would lead to war. Mainland's ruling Communist Party claims Taiwan is part of its territory. Now, following that interview, CBS reports the White House responded that the U.S. has not changed and that the U.S. wants to see Taiwan's status resolved peacefully.
Meantime, during that same interview with CBS News correspondent Scott Pelley, President Biden said the COVID pandemic is over.
Is the pandemic over?
The pandemic is over. We still have a problem with COVID. We're still doing a lot of work on it. But the pandemic is over.
The U.S. government designates the COVID-19 as a public health emergency.
And in Ukraine this morning, a Russian missile hit a facility close to a nuclear power plant in the southern part of that country. It didn't cause any damage to the reactors, but it did damage other industrial equipment. Ukraine's country's atomic energy operator has denounced as an act of nuclear terrorism. The strike caused an explosion that broke more than 100 windows on buildings in the complex and caused a nearby hydropower plant to shut down temporarily.
A detainee at Guantanamo Bay says he was released to the Taliban in exchange for an American prisoner held in Afghanistan. Bashir Nurzai, a notorious drug lord and member of the Taliban, tells reporters in Kabul today that he was the last Taliban prisoner there. The Taliban's foreign minister says the American released is Mark Frericks, a Navy veteran and civilian contractor from Illinois who was kidnapped in Afghanistan in 2020, the year before the group swept back to power there. There's been no independent confirmation from Washington on Frericks' release.
Up ahead on WTOP, Hurricane Fiona bears down now on the Dominican Republic after pounding Puerto Rico. 7:36.
Need new appliances?